Hi everyone, this is Professor Hernandez and I'm using this video lecture to explain the mock interview assignment. As you can see, I have our course Canvas site pulled up and I'm on student view, so this should resemble what you see when you log into Canvas. What you'll do to complete the mock interview first is read through the mock interview module. And you can access that by going to modules on the left-hand side column here and scroll down and start the mock interview module from the beginning. The mock interview module is going to explain the assignment in detail and also give you instructions on how to set up your Sunlink account so that you can record the interview. You'll note here that you need a computer with a webcam and microphone to complete this assignment. So if you do not have one, then you could check one out from the CSUN library. And make sure to do this as soon as possible because those computers can go very fast. The module will also show you the requirements for the assignment, as well as the grading criteria and online interview tips. If you haven't done an online interview before or a Skype interview, it can be a little uncomfortable at first, so you definitely want to practice so that way you appear more comfortable on camera and read through these tips as well. You're going to be scored in 5 different areas for your interview, so make sure to read through the grading criteria before you submit your interview. That way you'll hopefully be able to anticipate what kind of grade you'll get on this assignment. Here's where I explain how you can submit your interview through Sunlink. What you need to do first is create a Sunlink account if you don't have one already. And these instructions at the top here will explain how to do that. First, call the Career Center, get a temporary password, and then follow the rest of the instructions to create your Sunlink profile. It's really simple and it should only take you a few minutes. I'll click on the link here and show you how to log in once you have your Sunlink account created. And everything I go through in this video is in the mock interview module, but hopefully this video will give you a more clear idea because you can actually see me going through the steps. Once you have your Sunlink account set up, you're going to click the link on the Career Center site and you'll log in as a student. And then you're going to go to Resources and Mock Interviews. And then click My Mock Interviews here. I already have some practice mock interviews saved, so that's why you'll see some on my page, but you shouldn't see any on yours. To start a new interview, you click Create New Mock Interview. And you're going to name your interview. So I say in the instructions, put the name of the course and your last name as the title of your interview. In the next step, you're going to select your interview questions. So I note on the mock interview module that there's 3 categories to select questions from. And those categories are applicants, subjects, and traits. And each of those categories have subcategories. So for instance, applicants has a subcategory of interns. Choose the subcategories that best fit you and your experience, as well as the job position you chose for the interview packet. If you chose an internship, then submitting questions from the intern subcategory would be good. So take your time, and this is why you want to get started on this assignment fairly early. Take your time, look through the questions, find questions that you like. Remember, you need 5 total, and there's 3 categories. So that means you're going to choose at least 1 from each section and possibly 2. I'll just select 1 so you can see what it looks like. Let's say I want to select this question for my interview. I click Add, and I could see it here in my question bank. Once you have all 5 questions selected, you can reorder them by just dragging this arrow here. And then Sunlink will also tell you how long your interview will be based on the questions you chose. Once you're ready, you're going to click Save and Continue. And Sunlink is going to give you a preferred interviewer based on the questions you chose. If you want to change your interviewer, this is where you can do that. If you don't want to, then you would just select either start your mock interview or save and take interview later if you don't have time to start it right away. Let's say you're ready to start. You'll see this screen here, which is going to allow you to set up your audio and video. And this is where you can adjust your video and microphone settings. A couple of things to note, especially if you haven't done an online interview before. One is you want to look into the camera as much as possible and not at your screen. So you can see the difference. When I'm looking in the camera, it appears as if we're making eye contact. And if I look at the screen, now my focus is down. So look into your camera as much as possible. You could refer to notes during your interview if that makes you feel more comfortable. However, make sure that you're not spending too much time reading off your notes, that you're making a good amount of eye contact as you would in a real interview. You also want to play with the camera angle. So right now, my camera is positioned where I take up most of the screen. So make sure that your camera isn't angled so that way there's too much space above your head. For instance, if I were to move the camera like this, or down where I'm cut off, those are both not the best angles. So you want to position it so that way you're in the middle and the interviewer has a clear shot of your face. And what you can do if you're a little nervous, and a lot of students say that the mock interview makes them as nervous as if this were a real interview, is you could start with a practice question here and then start your actual interview. And the practice question might help loosen you up and get you used to speaking on camera. So it's a good idea to do that. Let's say you're ready to start. You would click Start Interview. And Sunlink's going to give you some last minute tips.
Are there any specific skills or achievements that you'd like to share with us?
So as you can see, the interviewer goes first. They ask the question you selected, and they're going to ask the questions based on the order you chose. And Sunlink will give you a timer that tells you how long you have to answer that question. So once you're ready to respond, you click Start Recording Answer. And this is where you would record your response. A good strategy is to rephrase the question the interviewer asked or start with a complete sentence. So that way the interviewer knows that you understood the question and you're going to answer it correctly. So for instance, with this question, you might want to start off by saying some specific skills or achievements that I'm especially proud of are A, B, and C, and then go through them in detail. Once you're done recording your answer for each question, you're going to click Stop Recording. So like I said, I just showed you one question to give you an idea of how it works. You would then go through the rest of the interview questions the same way. And what's really important is that you can review your interview before you submit it. This is an online class, so we can't do in-person interviews, and the mock interview assignment is a great tool because more and more employers are doing online interviews or Skype interviews. I've actually done a couple myself. But the advantage is you get to review and re-record your responses, which you don't get to do in a live interview. So because of that, the grading is going to be a little more strict than if we were doing in-person interviews in class because you have the advantage to re-record. So I highly suggest that when you come to this screen here, you review your interview. And if there are any sections that you want to re-record, make sure to do that before you submit the final draft. And once you're done, you're going to click Exit Interview. Once you save your mock interview, it's going to be under your mock interviews on your Sunlink page, and you can find it here. And like I said, if you go back and watch your interview, you're not particularly happy with it, then you could record a new attempt. Once you're ready and you want to submit the interview that you recorded, Sunlink's going to give you a link to your mock interview that you'll submit on Canvas as your assignment. So if you go to the interview that you're submitting and select Share Interview, then Sunlink's going to give you a couple of options. So what you're going to do is just copy this link here and then submit that on Canvas. Don't set a passcode because then I won't be able to view your interview. And you could also view the link here if you'd like. So let's say you copy this link, and I'm going to go back to our Canvas site. Then you're going to go to the mock interview submissions page, click Submit Assignment, and paste the link that Sunlink gave you here. And when you're ready, submit. You could leave me comments if you wish, although it's not necessary. Some students will say things like, I was really nervous when I recorded this. So again, only submit the URL here once you're ready, once it's the final interview. And if you go back and you watch your interview and you think, I could have answered that question better, or there are some places where the audio cut out, or there is some background noise you want to eliminate, then I highly, highly encourage you to re-record your interview. Let's go back to the module because there's a couple of things that I want to go over, which I didn't do at the beginning of the video. So when it comes to taking an interview online and recording yourself, like I mentioned before, the advantage you have over a live interview is that you can re-record yourself. So when I do these video lectures at home, as I mentioned in my first video, I have a baby. We also have a dog. You know, the baby can cry in the background, which I'm sure you've heard on one of my videos. The dog can bark, the neighbor's dog can bark, there could be a garbage truck backing up. You want to try to eliminate all that background noise as much as possible. When I do these video lectures, if the background noise is really bad, I'll just re-record them. Sometimes I only have a limited opportunity to record these because I might do it when she's taking a nap. So as much as possible, you do want to try to eliminate any background noise. There's things we can't control, like the garbage truck, for instance, but you can go back and re-record that section, especially if the background noise is so much that it's hard to hear you, then it would be a good idea to re-record. You also want to turn your phone on silent if it's nearby, and I'm sure that's happened to me where I've been recording a video lecture and I get a text message and my students can hear it go off. But with the mock interview, you want to treat it like an actual interview. So when you're going into a job interview, you would put your phone on silent in case you get a notification during it. You also want to dress as if you're attending an actual job interview. So again, when I record these video lectures at home, I make sure to get dressed, not just wearing my mom clothes. And if any of you have young children, you know that you don't really wear your fanciest clothes because they might spit up on you and you're running around all day. But when I record these video lectures, I get dressed and, you know, pretend as if I'm actually going to teach class. So you want to do that in this situation as well. You don't have to dress in any formal attire. So I think I say somewhere in the module, business casual is good. If you're not sure what business casual is, I did link to a website that can give you some ideas on what you can wear, especially if you've never been on a job interview before, because a lot of students haven't. Okay, well, that's all for now. I hope this video helped explain better how you can complete this assignment and use a Sunlink module. It can be a little confusing for some students the first time they use it. So just make sure to start this assignment early, practice as much as possible, review your interview, re-record it if necessary before you submit. And as always, if you have any questions, send me an email or post your question in the Q&A forum. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing all your interviews.